Hello, hello. Uh, let's see. Recording has been started. GM folks. Okay. Well, if it's just me, we don't need to record. So we'll wait. We'll wait 2 or 3 minutes. If there's no one to talk to, we'll just call it a day. I also believe that everybody who's in this call today has the ability to just come up on stage by themselves. I think if we've set up the permissions correctly, every single person should be able to come up on the stage by themselves. If that isn't true, let me know. Welcome back, bro.
Woo! Good to be back. So good to be back. Yes, yes. I missed you all so much. So much.
Dude, are you at the battle station?
I'm at the battle station. I just got in 6 minutes ago.
Wow, that's hardcore.
And I was like, I had the notification for the DAO call. I'm like, what's the best way to commence
This is the
my
best way to get
return?
back. Yeah, dude. Yeah, straight
Like,
into it.
yeah, I'm still wearing pants from the airplane.
Crazy. Well, take some time off to change your only DAO people can enter instantly. That's correct, legend. And everybody that's listening, pretty much, is a DAO person. So, up cool though, isn't. I'll invite him to speak. That way he can speak later. He'll be already up on the stage. Got is. What's up, cool?
Yeah, what's up, boys? How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing well too. How did you like the poker game last night?
I mean, I lost so fast that I hated it. But obviously the
Yeah,
platform
that's
really
sad.
cool. You guys did a great job on the platform. Well done.
Yeah, thank you for that too.
Okay, so doesn't look like there's any questions on the proposals. Does anybody want to say anything about the proposals? I'll speak about the ones I made. Um, 200,000 to Sebastian Bohr. I think that's pretty obvious. Hey, CryptoPause, how's it going, bro?
Hey, all good, all good.
So yeah, the award to 200,000 Grape to Sebastian. I think it's a no-brainer. He is essential to DAOs in Solana. He's helped us out a lot. Been super accommodating every single time we brought up an issue. The issue with the phone thing, he also knows what's going on. He's looking into it. Thank you, CryptoPause, for reaching
Was
out
fixed
on that.
just now.
Excellent. Look at that. So I guess we just have to put another. We have to start from scratch on that.
Yeah, I want to say something about it, but just continue. I say some words then after that.
Okay, brother. So yeah, for all of us, again, reminding everybody in the crowd that's a DAO member, you now have the ability to just come up on stage. No one's gonna invite you. You just come up on stage to talk. We're not gonna do any of this. I need a special thing. So if you have a proposal you want to talk about, something that you think is a priority, it is your ability to come up and make it a priority. We are a flat DAO when it comes to using this time to talk. So yes, 200,000 Sebastian. I think it's a no-brainer. It will be our honor to have him have 200,000 Grape. He's one of those people I think will be using it for governance, not just liquidating. So yeah, I think Sebastian is a perfect person to get more involved with what we're doing. Another proposal I put forward to send the NFT to me, and that's just playing around and seeing stuff. If you guys don't want to send it to me, that's fine. I thought it would be cool to vote on it. And then finally, the 25,000 USDC. We've put this in before for a bigger purchase that never happened. This was a proposal to get us moving slower there. It would go to the Mango delegate account that CryptoPause has. He's the delegate for that account. And then the idea would be that CryptoPause will make the swap, and then we will do a withdrawal vote. So that sums up the proposals I put forward. Yes, that is it on my stuff.
And then there's one proposal that I put forth myself. This would be to send the resident goat to the Soul Solana Hacker House for some nourishment. Any questions? This seems like uncharted territory, and I wish I would have known about this earlier. That was my fault. Because it would have been nice to represent Grape a little bit more than what I'm going to be able to now. Yeah, it just sucks that I won't be able to rep Grape as much as I would like to. So like something like this, if we do this in the future, because I know it has been expressed by some members that this is open to any DAO member, I think there would need to be like a minimum within like 2 weeks prior to make sure that one, you have the branding and the necessary stuff. Yeah, that's my only issue. If anyone has any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, I also told Dynite that this would also be the first time we're sending USDC to somebody that isn't KYC'd. And then Dynite, we've already talked about that.
That's right. Let
So,
me.
I don't. I don't want to act like I have a full understanding of all laws, but as much as possible to keep everything we do as compliant as I understand things, until we have the civic KYC process. If somebody does want to go to a hacker house and will ask for USDC from the DAO, I would appreciate that before you move forward with that proposal, or if you do move forward with that proposal and you receive the USDC, that you reach out to me and we figure out a KYC process. That being said, this is a DAO. I can't stop that. So yeah, if there's a situation where I think that it would like I don't know definitively if that's something bad. So we can vote against it in the future. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it, but if anybody wants, that's just how I'm thinking about stuff. This is not the time to talk about it unless there was some sort of lawyer here. I don't see Sam, so we can move on from that.
Okay, so basically you already touched the Solana or Saga phone issue. I talked to Sebastian on Realms Discord, so they fixed the issue with the proposal. It executed with an error, so I will post the faulty proposal in live chat so that everybody can see. what's about, what's all about, what's it all about? So, yeah. Unfortunately, we have to redo it, and I thought a little bit about it. We had this issue with proposals that couldn't be executed like 3 times now. And what I want to ask you guys is whether you find it okay to do those redo proposals with council tokens. So the thought about those proposals is that we actually did a vote on them, they passed, and to do it again, doesn't look good, or it's like people see it and think, okay, that's a bit of amateurish, and B, it may have a different outcome. And that I think isn't necessarily a good situation. I can see us having like a second proposal that disputes the first one, but having the same proposal with different outcomes is a bit wonky. So I propose that we do in general a proposal that failed due to an error, not due to the lack of consensus, with council tokens. That way it can be done quicker and people don't have to redo their vote. What do you guys think?
Makes logical sense to me. And for posterity on the recording, both Wales and Billy have also agreed. So with us three on the council vote, I don't know if Archimedes also wants to chime in. He's put the 100 emoji. So for posterity, even though I'm the only voice on the recording, all four have confirmed, and all four are also present during this recording.
Yeah, it's important to save time, be efficient. I mean, that's going to speed up things so much.
Yeah. And I think this can happen anytime. So especially if we do proposals that are new and instructions that have been especially made for us. So and we shouldn't hesitate to do them in the future just for the fear of that there might be errors. So yeah, I will redo the proposal and make it as a council vote so that we can execute on that. Yeah, and really props to the Realms guys for working this out that quickly. They also I showed you last week the functionality in Realms Explorer to highlight a proposal that is faulty and flag it with executing with errors. So like the proposal I posted just now, you can do that now on the normal front end. So everyone basically can see whether a proposal is faulty or not. Right now, it's just the proposal, the one who created the proposal who can do it. So maybe I'm not sure who created the proposal regarding, let me see. That's the proposal I'm talking about. I think it was you, Dean, right? Or am I wrong here? Withdraw from Mango account. So maybe you or whoever did that proposal, which also can't be executed, can flag it. And I also talked to Sebastian or made a suggestion that maybe not only the proposal creator can flag faulty proposals, but everyone, maybe who's able to create a proposal or everyone who can vote, so that it's much easier to to get faulty proposals out of the listing.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that now. Where would I be able to change the filter?
You basically go the filter. It's the more important part would be to flag the proposal itself. So you go into the proposal, click on instructions, and then you need to basically execute each instruction on their own. And whenever an instruction is gives an error, you can then flag that there appears a button, and you can flag it as executing with errors.
Yeah, flag instruction as broken. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
And
So I go through each one, I flag each one, and then it'll remove it from the list.
one will suffice. So the first
Oh.
one that fails, then you can click on the new button, and then the proposal gets flagged. And in your filter list on the main page, you can see at filters there is executing with errors. You can untick it, and then it filters out every proposal that has errors. So yeah.
Excellent. Great work on that, man.
Yeah, I also talked to the guys that maybe a DAO can change their filters and also add custom tags, and they are thinking about the idea. And yeah, I love to see Realms getting so much more functionality.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Okay. So you'll put forward that proposal for the council, and then
Yeah, yeah.
we can that passes, like, because all of us are here, it'll pass instantly. And then the only other proposal is this one, the Chinese one. I don't know.
Yeah, that killed me a bit, but it has no on-chain instructions, so
Yeah, not as concerning. Yeah, and yeah, I think that it's more. I like this approach in that, really, until we have a decentralized way to control everything, right? There's gonna have to be parts where we're gonna have to trust somebody to execute upon them. I can trust that I will be a correct executor in anything that passes on the DAO. So if something passes that won't be illegal, that I can help execute on, I will do so. This, obviously got people, to come together to put forward this proposal. I also helped, but I did not propose it. It was done by somebody who already had the Neanderthal amount, which is very powerful. It shows that anything can be made in our community if you want to do it. So they wanted to do it. The guys in the Chinese channel, they want to make it so that anybody can go in. I know exactly how I can change it so that it won't affect the overall server, and specifically, anybody will be able to go into the foreign language chats. So, this is now a moment where the Indonesian chat will have to have the same kind of rule set. Let's hope that there's no argument there. Otherwise, there might be another proposal later. And so, yeah, if this passes, I will make changes that allow non-grape holders to go into the Chinese chat. So that's what that proposal is about.
Also, on a side note, your proposal kind of killed me too a bit, because I was totally lacking context, like for the NFT. That's the reason I didn't vote, because I didn't understand what was going on, and I think nobody should vote when they don't know what's going on. So maybe next time would be great, like to have a bit of a reference on what's it about.
Yeah, sometimes it's there's curiosity, right? And because this is a very low value event, I felt confident to just go forward with curiosity.
Yeah, maybe even that would have changed because I wanted to wait until the DAO call today, so to get a bit more insight on what's going on. But maybe this as a disclaimer or a note in the proposal would be sufficient. Like, I just wanted to test, it's low value, just give it to me. And then I would have said, okay, it's Dean, here you go. But I didn't know the context, so.
Yeah, and some experiments you can't taint. Um, uh, so yeah. Since we got Upcool here, Upcool, did you want to, share a bit more about poker and your vision for it with the Grape DAO? I know that you're here. I appreciate what you organized and every step you've taken so far in interacting with us. So the stage is yours.
Yeah, guys, thank you everyone for having me here. Yeah, I don't know if my sound is good though. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
very
you.
well.
Yep. And thanks a lot,
Okay.
Upgo, for joining us. I really appreciate, as Dean said, you know, taking that extra step. Again, we talked about it. You guys have a great product, but coming here and explaining it to the DAO, I think that's going to be super helpful for us. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
do
Okay.
do you
Let's
wanna do you wanna maybe
let
talk
me
about?
then introduce the core principle. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Ask me what do you want me to talk about, and I will cover all this.
Yeah, do you wanna maybe just talk about what, like, how you guys designed the whole, the poker concept? Maybe start there, and then maybe we can talk about the different ways you guys can engage. Like, just talk about like the way you guys designed your whole poker idea.
Yeah. Basically, our poker app is completely on-chain and decentralized, so there is no server that runs like shuffling or randomization or stuff like this. This is all generated by players, basically. So all the tables, if we talk about like cash games or sitting go games, are on-chain accounts with smart contracts. Doing the settlements in real time for the players. So there is a bunch of accounts connected to the contract. First one is the server host, which is creating the transactions and paying for gas. The second is the table owner's account. Is basically who owns the table and gets the commission from it, and also the first account, the server account, also gets some part of commissions from it, and the rest of the players' accounts. So there is no actually withdrawal or deposit system uh, because when you join the table, you actually put your tokens. For example, let's say a table with Grape tokens as chips. So you would send your tokens directly to the table contract, and then as the game process goes, and then you decide to leave or something, the table contract would settle the transaction, so it would send you your tokens, chips directly back to your wallet. So there is no platforms, deposit, withdrawal. Um, it's all transparent and trustless, so to say. The idea behind this is that we're still early in development, but we've done a lot of things already. So we've been working on this product for like 10 months, and the idea here is to make the completely community-owned poker game. So it's completely permissionless to host a server, to host a table, to create a table, and it's run by the governance. Just like you guys have a DAO, we're in process of creating the DAO. We're working on the fundamentals, how the stuff is governed and stuff like this. But as soon as you have a governance token, you're able to create the table, which is completely yours. You configure the tokens, the chips, the stakes, amount of players, everything you configure, and then as the table owner, you receive part of commissions from it, and it's completely, transparent and stuff. As far as the how the randomization goes, so basically once you we don't have an account system as well, so basically we use blockchain as the account system and as the data storage, and so basically once you connect your wallet, you would once you set up your profile, you would generate a key pair, uh, which one of them is public, and you also save it on your on-chain profile, and the one is secret, which is kept in your browser locally, and that you use with your wallet to sign the transactions to prove it's you, or to decrypt the messages. So basically, actually we have created one cache table with a Grape token, and it's up right now. So we can jump on it and see how it works. It's on the tables, uh, in the top menu on the table section. Under the table section, you can select the token as Grape, and then you will see that cache game table. Basically, how the shuffling works is when there is a couple of people joining the table, so you and somebody else, player one would receive a deck of cards, which is 52 cards, from the transactor, and the transactor will provide initial encryption for it. So you will receive a deck of cards, you will encrypt it, and then using your key, and then you would shuffle it. So you would so nobody but you knows the order of the cards. And then you would provide this encrypted and shuffled deck to the player number two, who is on the table, and he would receive this encrypted and shuffled deck, and he would encrypt it again using his key, and then he would shuffle them again. So now nobody would know which card is in which position and which card is which. And then if there is more players, the deck would be passed to player number three, player number four, who would do exactly the same things. So the random is created by the players themselves. And once the deck is shuffled, and we deal the card, um, now you have to know which card you have. So, but you only own one part of the secret, meaning your encryption that you provided when you shuffled the cards. And then you have to collect a part of the secret from all the other players involved in the shuffling, which they would send to you using your public key. They would share. Uh, they would share this secret, and then you could decrypt. Your browser would decrypt these cards, and then if somebody so basically you have to collect these parts of the secrets from everyone, and that works for you, it works for everyone. So since player number two, he requests the keys from everyone, so you have to provide him this part of the key, so he could, like, part of a puzzle to decrypt it, and then the server doesn't know anything actually, so you would also provide these keys to the server, so he understands the game process. uh, this is basically how it works. So and that works for the community cards. So when we have when everyone received the cards, everyone got the messages from the other players involved in the shuffling. He decrypted his cards, he made the bets. Now we have a bunch of community cards, and now everyone would share the secret for the community cards, so it's publicly available, so everyone would decrypt it. And this is basically how we ensure that the game process is fair, right? Um, and the server have doesn't have to do anything with, like, under the table manipulation and stuff. And we designed this protocol. We called it Race Protocol. So it's completely permissionless. So you don't need to care who owns the server, who owns tables and stuff like this. So it's completely permissionless, can be run by any community in any direction. So you could create your own lobby, create your own rules for the tournaments and stuff like this. It requires some building, but it's not as difficult since all the tools are provided. Um, yeah, so this is basically how it works. Um,
I have a quick follow-on question. So when you said everybody's public keys are collected and that's used together to decrypt and also figure out the next community card, what happens if somebody leaves the table? Like what's the process involved there?
Design means that the game process is driven by consensus by all the players. For example, if we play some hand and then one guy who is involved in the shuffling leaves the game for some reason, right? Or loses connection or something like this, so he cannot share the key for the next card, and then no one could decrypt it, and no one would be able to know what the next card is. So this hand is halted, and what would happen is that guy who didn't share the key or shared the wrong key, he would fold this hand, and then the pot would be equally distributed to all the other guys on the table. I saw that in a Grape chat somebody asked about the reveal secrets, reveal cards, stuff like this. So basically, that would normally happen if you join the table a little bit later than the other guys, and they already shared the keys, but you joined the game a little bit later, and you still need to know the cards. So you would normally click to request the keys, and then every player would send you the keys, so you could actually see the cards.
All right. Yep. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. From just the whole idea of the game being so decentralized, permissionless, it kind of really appeals to the ethos of what we strive to do here at Grape. And again, you've already seen the love that Grape has for poker. So I do agree that we have a lot of things in common that we can work towards. Um, in terms of just the simple idea of creating a table and buying in through let's say Grape, like how much work do you think is involved from like where your product is to get that working?
So basically, it still needs some time to finish some fundamental parts. Also, connecting the governance token to the table creation and stuff like this. And it is not ready yet. So this is why we're working towards it, but it still might need some time. But for now, our team manages that. So if you need some tables to be created, that's very easy basically, since all the tech is there already. So if you go, I think somebody is already playing with at the grape table at the moment. So if you guys just provide us uh, the table blinds, the table stakes, which you want to see in the app, we would create them. That's not a problem. So at the moment, what I will explain what game modes we have right now. So basically, this is the cash game when you buy in with some, let's say, 100 grapes, and this, and then you use on the table use this 100 grapes as chips to play around. Uh, when you leave the table, then how many grapes you have in your hand will be settled and sent back to your wallet. Um, this is one way, and I believe we can have cash tables up from 2 to 9 players max. Um, then the second mode is the sit and go mode, so that would be a little bit different. But if you're familiar with poker, you of course know it. So you have to buy in. For example, we have a sit and go table for 6 people. Then all the 6 people have to buy in with, let's say, 100 grapes, and then the winner would take either the winner will take it all, or we can figure that there is first place, second place, third place, and we just need from you. We would just need the input information, like what's the buy-in, what's the uh, both of the cash table, what's the player amount for the table and stuff like this, and we could set it up basically in no time. The tourney though, yeah, it's the third feature that we have. The tourney though is a new feature for us. So we've created it, uh, made it available, let's say, just a week ago, and we've been playing and testing with it. So there is no automatic settlements on that one. So if you want to have a tourney, you would have to manage the prizes manually. So this is what we do. But concerning the tournaments, then there is no limitation to amount of players. We've tested it with 10 players, 30 players. Yesterday, thanks to you guys, we've tested it with 50 players. That works pretty good. We found some tweaking that we need to do to be able to, shove all the information in the transactions for the tourneys, and the more players we have, then the bigger the transaction size is, and there is some tweaks around it, so we have to split it in separate transactions and stuff. The ticket for the tournament can be basically anything. Could be in any tokens, could be Soul, could be Grape, could be anything. You just set it up. You set it up. You set up the account where the prizes are being collected to. Upon the registration, when people click register, they have to pay this ticket in Grapes, and then as soon as the game ends, the account owner has to distribute the prize manually. That's the only thing that's manual about the tourneys right now. Another thing about the tourneys that we're been working on is that you do not necessarily need to have a buy-in ticket, or how to say the better, basically you can use some NFTs as the ticket to the tournament. So basically the registration is 15,000, let's say, grapes. You have a buy-in ticket. But if you have some NFT from a certain collection, then it's free for you. Or there could be a special tourneys when just the NFTs holders could enter. It could be like a free roll, but in order to participate in it, you need to have some certain NFT or from certain collection something. So as soon as since like the whole process is completely web free, there is a lot of possibilities to tweak, and there is a lot of ways to do it, and we could do like mostly like anything with it, but still needs, maybe something would need a little bit of time to implement. But yeah, this is something really doable. So in terms of the events for the community, we could create all kinds of different rules, try it out, see what people like best, and proceed with those. It's completely possible. Um, yeah, and since all the tables are the on-chain accounts, it's basically doesn't matter where the people interact with them. Uh, Basically, you can have your own grape lobby in your design, and then you would show all the grape tables at your lobby, and then the people would not need to have to go to like Race Poker app, but would access them from your own lobby in your design. That would work exactly the same as if they accessed it from our lobby, because they're just interacting with a table contract. And then the players who join these tables from your lobby would be playing together with people who joined from our lobby, since we're displaying the same tables there. Um, yeah, we're working on mobile app support. So for now, we're working on mobile version, so people could enter it from devices from mobile browsers. But also we're looking to have apps for App Store and Android Store, maybe in a couple of months, let's say maybe 2 to 3 months. And those would be also reading and interacting with the tables. So yeah, And if you guys have a metaverse, I'm unfortunately I've heard a lot about Grape, but I never really deep dived into it, and I don't know what you guys have. But if you guys have a metaverse, you can build so somebody sitting in metaverse could play poker with someone who is on Grape website, and with someone who is on Race website, and with someone on Race mobile app. Um, they will all be playing together. That's kind of cool about it.
Yeah, interestingly, I think some of us at Grape have been working with a protocol called Chapter X, and I told them about you guys, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, we know about you." And I don't know if you guys are actively working with them or they're just kind of they have you on that radar, but it seems like those guys have knowledge of your existence at least.
What guys? Sorry, I think I didn't.
It was a team called Chapter X.
Oh, no, maybe they just have us on their radar.
Yep, yep. Legend, you had some questions. Do you wanna kind of get on stage and ask them, or I saw one question on the live chat about support for multisigs. So do you guys have support for multisig wallets as like maybe not now, but when the contracts which would create the tables, would they support multisig wallets?
Well, I think this is a very good idea. Yeah, I think we should do that. So right now, all the table creation and the tourney creation is manually done by our team. So right now, we don't have this, DAO system involved in the table creation. We are just working on it, and maybe since we are, maybe that would be also a good way to our collaboration because guys, from what I learned about you and your system, your DAO system is pretty cool, and maybe we can learn from you how to organize it in the best way possible. So this is one way to actually that you can help us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the guys on the stage like probably know more about DAOs than, the whole, you know, existence of crypto in the world right now. So they'll definitely be able to give you guys good direction. Um,
That would be sweet.
yeah, I had just one last question for you guys. Again, just with smart contracts, right? What like are you getting your smart contracts audited? Um, stuff like that. And what are you guys doing for security? How much have you guys thought about that? And maybe just talk about yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, so we've been thinking about that for a long time, but since we still haven't finished the product itself, there is no. It doesn't make sense to have a partly finished product to be audited. So we have this in our roadmap, and I think as soon as we finish the governance part and the table creation part, and then we would go for the audits. Yeah, and make it so make it publicly available. I mean, the audits reports and stuff like this. So for now, we're not audited yet, but we are looking forward to it. Talking about ourselves is we're a decentralized team, so our team members mostly live in different countries, and we just keep the communication in Discord. Some people are in Singapore, some people in China. I'm myself in Kazakhstan at the moment. Yeah, and I think we have around 10 team members, and like some of them are working full time, some of them are like part-time contribution, doing some part-time contribution when they have time and stuff. Yeah. uh, Regarding the background, like Sud 70 here, he's listening right now. He's our main tech guy. He worked for uh, some cool lottery company back in the days in China. He was a CTO there, and they were building all kinds of lottery systems, and they had a huge turnover, like $1 billion per week. Uh, but that was lottery, and now they've banned it in China, so he had to they had to shut down the company and stuff. Yeah. And the rest of the guys are some, business developer guys. Some of them are designer guys. Some of them are, we're doing all kinds of stuff. So
Yes. Anybody else on the stage have any questions or any comments? Or
So, if you guys don't mind, I would ask a question. It's like how you want to, how do you want to move forward? Would it be like weekly tourneys, similar to what we had yesterday? Would you be interested in having these great tables, cash and sitting goal, let's say, setup available anytime? Do you guys want to have your own like lobby and stuff like this? So what's your ideas about it? So what do you guys want to do? This is the first question, and the second question is, do you have any, any like a link, a doc, or something to learn about all of those things that you guys do in terms of backend features and stuff like this? Maybe you have some kind of, I don't know, like DEX or something. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with your structure so far. But the reason I'm asking is that there is a lot of ways for backend integration for our app as well. So right now, what we're thinking of is to having some in-game swap ability, and we want to use Prism for it, since Prism integrates all kinds of different DEXs, right? So when people join the game, for example, from race lobby, and they see that there is people in grape table and they want to join them, but they don't have any grapes, they would just, they wouldn't they wouldn't need to go anywhere but just swap inside the app, and we would use the Prism SDK for it. And there is all kinds of stuff that can be integrated, you know. Um, so I'm thinking if you guys have any ideas about what we can do together in this direction, let's say.
so I can talk to you about a little bit about how we are proceeding with this right now is so we use discourse as our preliminary um, place where we kind of raise ideas and talk about it and bounce different opinions among each other. So we have a discourse proposal going to talk about you guys and getting poker back in. um, I'll probably leave it up for a few more days for people to kind of talk about it. Anybody interested, I think we should just get together in a group chat and talk about questions that people have. I think right now just me and Legend from Grape are in a group chat with you guys, and then I think eventually we would want to raise something on chain. That's where everybody who owns Grape can go in and vote exactly what we want to do. Um, that's kind of important for us because we used to have, poker tournaments before, and we stopped it because the Grape members at that time felt that the way we were running it wasn't appropriate. Uh, so we want to go back and raise a proposal on chain and have people vote with their Grape and say yes, we want that back, and this new structure makes sense. So once we have that structure in place, then we'll kind of start having that. Um, but I don't think we want to rush into it in terms of as a DAO, especially with this because we've had an occurrence in the past where we used to have it and it stopped because of a public vote. I think if we do want to get poker back on, go back that same route. We'll put out a proposal, have people vote, and if people are okay with the structure, we'll get that back in.
Yeah, the other question is how much time does it usually take for you two guys have a consensus about the whole thing? And the reason I'm asking is maybe while you guys are doing this stuff, we could still run some, weekly tournaments for you, just for you, to relax and have some good time with poker.
Yeah, that would be awesome if we can do that. We generally have our proposals at 5 days right now. I might be incorrect, but I think it's at 5 days once it goes on chain. Um, and then it kind of depends on the proposal, how much time it might take to actually implement. Um, I'm not sure how much we can automate things in this proposal. As you were kind of hearing before this, some proposals are like, automatic. You kind of put in the instruction, it happens. This needs to be kind of like put in instruction, and then some people have to coordinate and get stuff done. Um, so again, I don't know about timelines, but if you guys want to have a poker table for us, a grape table for us, I think everybody at Grape would definitely love to join or participate. And that would be really generous of you too. Um, I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions or um, things they want to talk about? Our way of approaching it, apart from kind of what I talked about?
It's it's gonna take time on this one because if there's two disputing views on why we stopped poker. Some people are saying because there was no one to organize it. Other people are saying it was because the Discord, the terms and conditions outlawed poker in the Discord, and we didn't want to risk losing the entire Discord because of poker. Um, so there's going to be a lot of discussion, but there's also a lot of solutions. So you know, I look forward to it. Again, I think you built something really cool. I think that there's so many different ways that this can be needed and used. I did want to ask. I saw that there's a race token. How are you going to be using the race token?
Yeah, basically that would be our governance token for the Raise DAO. And that would be used to govern the table creation, the tournament creations, and all kinds of stuff, right? So this is what it's going to be used for. And another reason we need governance for is that once somebody is running the transactor, the server, the game relay, uh, uh, if something wrong happens to that, right? So it wouldn't be able to submit transactions in time or something like this. Uh, and that would really ruin the gameplay and the whole idea of it. The people or the players would be able to submit the suspend transaction, right? To investigate. So the DAO members could vote if the game process there was good or bad or malicious or something like this, and then they would revoke if it's necessary. They would revoke this server's ability to run the transactions. So there is many ways why we need the governance into this system, because we want to make the whole gaming process decentralized. And the other reason is that we are not only aiming at the poker game itself. So as I mentioned, we are also working on this protocol. So we have all the tech in place, which is right now working all around the poker games. But this decentralized randomness and encrypted communication and stuff like this, it can be applied to any strategy game. And we are building this toolkit for anyone to be able to build his own games using just by providing the game logic, right? So and just calling these functions. I need random for like 100 entities, let's say, and stuff like this. And this way, we want the community to run, to build more games on top of Race protocol. So it could be like card game, like Hearthstone, something like similar to Hearthstone, where the cards needs to be dealt in a random way, and then the users create it. Or if we talk about the gambling, like for example, the roulette, right? So there is so many ways to implement this decentralized randomness in the gaming, and we want to provide this fundamental structure to it. And this is what we're working on. And since the idea itself is abstract, at least was abstract when we started working around it, we need something to touch, see how it should work and stuff like this. So we've been building a poker game. And the reason for poker game is that we're all, big time poker players. We love it so much, and we've been annoyed a lot with, uh, centralized poker solutions who could, like, you deposit to the platform, you play for some time, you win big, but then for some reason they suspend your account or something like this, and then you can't withdraw. So we wanted to avoid that. Um, because, for example, I move a lot, so I live in different countries and I move a lot, and I've been typically suspended from my funds because I moved to another place. I need to go through the KYC process and stuff like this so many times, and it's really annoying. And then the other reason is that, when you play on some centralized poker solutions, you still have this feeling that something is wrong, that because maybe since they make money off the rakes, right, or from the pot, from the stakes, then you would suspect that the cards dealing was not fair. Maybe they give you like two jacks, the pocket jacks, and the other guy pocket queens on purpose just to drive you into raising more to collect more rakes. And this idea, even when they're certified and they provide this, then you cannot verify if they're doing it in a fair way all the time or just sometimes. So, and these are the issues we wanted to solve with this decentralized random creation, and blockchain is good for that because right now, with this tech in place, you don't have to trust every other player. You don't have to trust the server. You just, you shuffle yourself, you hold your keys. Nobody can know their card until you share this part of information. And so this is what we're working on, and we wanted to make it completely permissionless, censorship resistant, all this stuff like this. So, and since we already built the tech and we know how it works and we build it for poker, right now we want to, as soon as we finish the fundamentals to poker, I mean this tournaments, the governance, and then we would standardize the protocol logic and build the toolkit for anyone to be able to build on top and build their own games, just by building the game logic and the user interface and not having to care about everything. So yeah, this is the idea behind it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming on and talking to us about this. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate what you guys are building. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you guys for calling us here. That was very good, very I don't know.
yeah, you got a lot of
Very,
people, huh? More
yeah.
people than usual, right? More than Soul Doge.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot to be done. I also think there's a lot of fixes, UI fixes, interaction fixes. So I'll also share with you later how we do feedback within the Grape world. We have a separate DAO that does feedback for different protocols. We've done this so far for Squads, Streamflow, Everlend, you name it. We've done it for a lot of the big boys. I think it would be really fun for us to do it for race poker as well. So if you're interested, I can send you some more information about how we do that as a community.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Should we talk about membership now?
Yeah, I think that's a good. One of the changes I wanted to do that I was thinking about is that there's a few channels inside Grape that are not visible to people if they're not part of like different councils or different role types. I was thinking that anybody who's Neanderthal should be able to see all of those channels. Um, Wanted to see if anybody is opposed to a Neanderthal status being able to see every single channel. Legend has a question only to see or write. That's a great question. What do you guys think?
I think it just depends on the channel. Like the syndicate, maybe they can see what's going on there, but they probably wouldn't need any reason to write in on that specific channel.
Yeah, I think. Let me see. I'm trying to get a sense of which channels are visible to. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So the NFT Council definitely isn't. The Gaming Council isn't. The Syndicate isn't. The Developer Channel isn't. What else? The Moderators Chat isn't. Maybe that's No, I think philosophically I'm fine with everybody thinking everybody. If you're Neanderthal, that's what I'm proposing on that. Um, I guess it's not a big deal. There's other membership changes that would be bigger, but that was just an idea somebody had brought up this week that was on my mind. Something we can talk about.
Yeah, I think it would make sense for things like gaming council, NFT council within the vicinity here in Grape. But I doubt, any Neanderthal is gonna want to see what the mods are talking about. No offense, right? But just generally, I think more clean cut Discord. But anyways, my recommendation for membership is that the only difference would be, at least vanity wise, would be Neanderthals. Other than that, everyone else is Grape. Just because the threshold to create a proposal is set at Neanderthal level. Other than that, I don't think there should be any more classes, and I think there shouldn't be any more class emissions. Instead, there should be emissions based on voting. You get a percentage, whatever amount of grape we decide to allocate per proposal. You get a fixed percentage, no matter how big your stack is.
I mean, uh, I like the idea of so the emission thing we need to like on the membership and the voting. Love that as a thing to discuss more. Um, I don't know if you can give an amount static regardless of your stack size because then you're incentivized to have multiple small accounts. Just one grape voting on.
Sure.
Um, so, but conceptually, I think that is the right direction to go into. Um, that membership probably needs to move to a place where it's like, okay, to get the membership emission, you're probably locking your grape in, and you need to, then you get an amount equal to how much you're voting and proposing. I think that's interesting. There's because as you know, what is it now? I don't know what the current stats are, but last we checked, was it 17 million grape or 15 million grape is deposited? But we don't really see more than 5 million grape um, voting. I don't know how much of that is unique grape. Um, and look, compared to every other DAO out there, to my knowledge, we're far and away doing much better. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't, continuously strive to do better and, to make this more and more, uh, what I would deem a pure governance token is to really think about how the governance is going to the active people in governance. Um, so yeah, I'm philosophically in agreement. Um, we probably should start a discussion to start getting some ideas like hammered down around it. Um, on the viewpoint of eliminating uh,
Class emissions.
class, not the class emissions. I think this connects to it. Like that one topic of class emissions, I think is like right now it's uniform as long as the way we do emissions is based on a standard percentage regardless of which class you're in. So if you're in class C or class A, you're getting the same proportion equal to your class. Um, but I think that whole discussion is one lump of how do we handle membership emission. Um, and my viewpoint is that yeah, I agree. It should probably be connected to voting, and it should probably be connected to locking up grape in those mango lockers. Uh, and then separately, the idea behind the different classes within the grape Discord, which is which was the first thing we started out with, right? Like even before realms existed, it was like you get different access based on these different things you hold, different amounts you hold. And I'm concerned that if we were to like, there has to be a minimum level to be a great member, and I think it would. We need to really discuss this widely and think about a lot on what that minimum grape, like one grape should not give you, access to the grape chat. Um, yeah, I don't like I will stop paying attention to that chat personally. I only want to be talking to people who seem to be committed to what we're building here, not somebody who wants to come in and then spam. Hey, this is my NFT project.
Yeah, those are fair points, and perhaps like there is like a minimum that will be required, especially for something like that. Um, Along the lines of gamifying like the static reward for grape on voting, it could also be set as a minimum because we have the numbers. We could look at what it would be, whether we set it at every voter that has above 1,000 grape, and at least the way I'm picturing it, it's not going to be something that's going to like make you want to try to game the system. But I could be wrong, I could be wrong. Anyways, those were my thoughts on the membership.
Yeah, it's those are good ideas, and I think as a next step, there's a lot to talk about on the membership emission side. Today's July 31st, so I think we have a good amount of time to communicate to everybody in Grape that August might change. Um, so uh, We could communicate that today. We can make an announcement here in the Discord that, pay attention. There might be a change to membership admission in August. We would also have to update that in the documentation if we chose to do that. Um, but we don't need to move that fast. We could start planning for September, which gives us a whole month to really talk about it. And then for changing the Grape membership model, I think that the most important is understanding what the minimum is. Um, my view today would be we would raise the minimum. Um, yeah, it's. I think right now it's very accessible to anybody that wants to be in a DAO. Um, and we could increase it and still be very accessible. Like if when we start to think about DAOs, um, like if you want to be part of Monkey DAO, what is the minimum? $8,000. We're playing a completely different scale and size. Um, so yeah, a lot of people, if you guys want, that's an area to discuss a lot, what the minimum would be. Um, and then separately, I think let's not try to target any changes in August just because of how fast we would have to like communicate. And I don't want anybody to ever feel even a sliver of justification to uh, have an issue with all of us, with Grape collectively, because we're all here on these calls, we're all present. There are many holders who just don't have the chance to come to these calls. They sometimes don't even have the chance to listen to the call updates. So we need to give some people plenty of time of heads up and reiteration of heads up. I would feel more comfortable that if we're going to make any change to a mission, we target September 1st. So we should have some time there.
Hey guys, if there's time, I would like to talk about a proposal I had made on um, discourse. I don't know if there's something else you guys want to talk about the membership. I'll hold on, but I can talk about it now.
Yeah, I think that's fine. If I don't see anyone else, we've been talking about this for a while now. I haven't seen any other comments. It seems like we have at least our next steps to decide what the minimum would be, whether it be Class B or even raising that for a membership. And I've also linked um, a proposal that was made back in late March, talking about the Grape membership revision. A lot of that stuff has changed since, but um, take a look and perhaps we can figure out our next steps for that next time. Do you want to link the proposal you want to talk about, Gods?
Yeah, I had I think I had put it up there. I'll just reply to it again, just so that everybody can see it. Wait, my live chat just froze on me. All right, I'm back. Reply to myself. This one. If you guys haven't read it, I'll just maybe give you guys a minute to. Well, it's probably not a 1 minute read. I probably blabbered too much on it. But I can probably catch everybody up to speed real quick here. So, um, thankfully, as a part of the gaming council, we had invested in a game, like just a single pack called VBA, and trying to see how that game kind of turns out. It actually went live in like alpha mode. I would say like 6 weeks ago, and as gaming console, we have been playing that game. We got really lucky with the pack. We got some really good players. So let me just preface that a little bit. So VBA is a NBA simulation game, like a basketball simulation game, where you have players and the teams built a game engine, and then you use those players in matches, and the game engine simulates those matches for you, and then kind of you win or lose. Um, if you guys have played like any manager-ish games, like Football Manager or stuff like that, it's exactly like that, except think 2000, 2001, or 2000, if you guys ever played those versions where the match engine would just put like text on your screen. So it's super alpha, where as the match goes on, you just see like text on the screen as to like what's happening in the game. um so we got lucky with some players, and we've been playing it. We really enjoy it. We've been in the community for a long time. So um that, plus some of our thoughts on what we want to do as a DAO, and then also how we can engage the Grape community more in gaming. All of that kind of came together in my mind, and I decided to make that proposal. So one of the ideas of that proposal is, right now, the way that game works is, the more players you have, the better team you can get, and the better team you get, the more prizes you can win. um, and one of the things that's coming out of this is this idea of franchises, and that's something that's going to be prevalent, I believe, across a lot of you know web3 gaming, where you have these game modes where you have players that need to play in teams. We already have the photo finish syndicate, which is kind of in a similar idea. So the idea was to kind of make a franchise. So we talked about it a little bit in our gaming console, and then this idea struck me, is like, rather than going through a council or a syndicate kind of a setup that we've tried before, why don't we try something new? Like, why don't we do it as a DAO? As far as I know, there's no other DAO that has attempted to kind of own one of these kind of teams in the I would say metaverse, or Web3 gaming. I'm saying metaverse because I think the developers of the game eventually want to move to a metaverse simulation. But that was like, okay, how about we think about having franchise as a DAO. And secondly is like, what if we gamify the whole experience? So since the game is alpha right now, there's not really a lot of prize and actual tournaments to work towards, but we can gamify it internally to say, hey, if we do get a lot of players as a DAO, then we can select members who would like to play that game, and assign teams and give the players to those people in Grape, and they can participate as managers in the season zero, and compete and learn about the engine and stuff like that. So all of those things came together into that proposal. So some of the kind of highlights from that proposal is um, oh, and then I think Dean put something in the NFT chat room, which kind of again got my brains moving a little bit. Where um, you know maybe the NFT Council was interested in buying some of these assets. And then I thought, hey, how does a franchise really work in real life? Like, there's a coaching team, or a on like the actual game management team, and then there's the GMs, right, who actually like purchase the players, talk with other franchises, and move players around. And I was like, hey, this is a really interesting idea where we can have two sub DAOs, and within a DAO, like doing separate roles, you know, for a particular franchise. And I was like, hey, can we have, again, this is just the beginner way of thinking about is, can we have like the NFT council doing the player purchases, and then the gaming council do like the actual management of the teams and the players in games and stuff like that. So all of that kind of came together in the proposal, and that's where we are. So, um, I'm trying to get a sense of like, hey, how do we feel? Firstly, about embarking on a journey to explore, franchise as a DAO, and then also, how do we feel about, having this kind of multi sub DAO kind of franchise management structure, um, and kind of see how things go. I know we are in a down market now, and it's kind of subduing, but um, just something to think about in terms of like future engagement and stuff like that. Um, if that's something that the DAO might be interested, I think that this is a good way to explore that. Um, I think somebody had questions regarding the financial aspect of it. So again, these are NFTs. This is a game, so there's obviously those considerations. It's a basketball game. So one of the things working for us is there's always going to be um, fans who want to play this game, like basketball fans who want to play this game. So there's definitely a you know floor to how much these NFTs might go. Um, I know, as being part of the VBA community, is like a lot of the um, personalities who are involved with NBAs, from like podcasting levels to community engagement levels, are involved in VBA. So there's going to be decent exposure to the actual fans who love basketball. um, Plus, I think the whole upside is definitely there, where it could really explode. And once the NBA season rolls in, this becomes super popular with people talking about it in podcasts, and um, you know them doing like an advertisement. Again, I don't have an clear roadmap on how they're going to engage it, but I'm hoping that they will. um, so that kind of, I hopefully answer some of the financial questions. But again, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that proposal, kind of get idea from you guys as to how we think about it from a DAO perspective. And then I'm not a Neanderthal, so I will need somebody to sponsor it um, on an on-chain vote. So looking for that too. This is part of my pitch to convince a Neanderthal to kind of see if it makes sense to them. I'm happy to talk to them and see if we can kind of get it on chain. Any questions or any thoughts or? All right, that is kind of all I had. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Gazlov. Sorry, I might have missed this. Are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Um, so there was a moment this week where I was on stage on an AMA, or I forget what. Oh, it was the NFT Council discussion, And I made a comment that the gaming council hadn't repaid its loan back, and then Riptide set me straight. And I think one of the biggest issues from my perspective, and it might just be me, but I'm pretty sure it's a broader issue. There isn't a lot of communication and transparency with the gaming council, and I think that's just something we can fix now. Um, do you have a sense of what the existing treasury value is, like what the assets you guys are managing for Grape?
The treasury, like in terms of like the price of the NFTs and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Um, so maybe Riptide has a later value, but I would say it's probably around 200 to 250. I don't know if sergeant's on the call. Mr. Savage, you probably have a better idea, but I would say between like 200 to 300 Sol. If we convert, we have some things in ETH, we have some things in BNB too because of the way Steppen is. But if we kind of converted all of that into Sol, I think it's between 200 to 50.
Yeah, most of the step-in assets are around about 200 Sol for those, but we have got some other game-based assets in there, which must be a couple Sol each as well. I think there's a little bit in the squad's wallet in terms of Sol itself, around about 5, I think it is, something around that.
Yeah, and then maybe another few couple Sol in the gaming console. That's all.
Yeah, the VBA stuff, whatever that's sort of worth at the moment.
Yeah.
That's majority of that.
Is there so Dean, like if I can kind of come back on that question, is there in terms of the size of the asset, is your question saying like why are we not doing this and why are we coming to the DAO
Oh
for
yeah,
this?
no, you're jumping to whoa, bro. You do this a lot with me.
Okay.
I'm going from the hey, I didn't know if you guys repay the loan and there's a lack of transparency to hey, first question, what's the treasury size? Like I personally,
Okay, yeah.
so like first, it was such great news to know the loan was repaid. Awesome, applauded. It was fast, great news. Also great news. Wow, Grape also has an additional 300 plus Sol in managed assets on the gaming council. So so far this is all good news. Before we go into deeper things like all this other stuff you're going into, I want to make sure that we set ourselves up where we have this transparency, where where people are proud of it, that they know it. Um, any ideas from anybody on stage or in the crowd? What would need to happen so that way we can have a better, consistent view on like, hey, this was repaid. Hey, this is the size of the treasury. This is where those assets are seen, so you can see them. Um, like I just this is also a problem on the NFT council side. It's a smaller problem because both of those are already like the treasuries are available on the documentation. So I think that's one thing we need to change. You guys can coordinate that at any time with there's multiple people here I think that have the
Well,
documentation.
I think our squad's wallet is also in the documentation, so that should just be there. And in terms of like transparency, like and again, like we are decentralized, right? So like we've been like communicating. So we had a proposal um in discourse where we kind of talked about this, and that's where we kind of again, we asked for a loan at that time for step in, which took a long time for us to get. But we've just been using that discourse to then communicate everything back, saying, "Hey, we got it. You know, this is how much we paid right now, or this is how much we've paid back." So if that's not the way we want to do it, we can definitely talk about it. But it felt to us that was a pretty decent way, and anybody who wants to know can, follow that and find it out.
Yeah, you know what? You're making a good point, and I judging from the fact that no one else is saying, "Oh, I didn't know," I'm going to now take the absence of anybody saying I didn't know and the absence of any question about treasury as a failure on my part. So you're right. We're massively decentralized. It seems to have only been me, which is awesome. So okay, probably not an issue, and definitely don't want to put any more work on anybody's shoulders when there's 22 people in the audience, 6 on the stage. If 27 people knew and I was the only one not knowing, I'm very happy with that. I love how decentralized we are. So yeah, don't want to add any work,
Yeah,
and
like
thank you for
one
pointing that out.
one layer of obscurity over here, which I can see, is that like the step-in wallets, and you've used step-in, so and those who haven't used step-in, like when you're actually using them, you have to move them from like a actual visible wallet to an in-game wallet to actually use them, and you don't have any Web3 components to it, so you cannot see like the assets in there. So there is a lack of transparency there. But again, everybody who we have given assets to for Step-In is either on the gaming council or kind of people who are trusted on Grape, like you. Um, so we kind of trust that those assets are there. But yeah, but I can see, like, for a game like Step-In, there might be a little bit of lack of transparency. But again, for VBA or like other games that we have really been exploring, like that's been like a major theme for us to say, hey, if we, like, Sergeant can add a lot of details there, but like, how do we look at these assets? How do we, when we give it to those assets, like, will we give it to somebody? What are the conditions we will give it to somebody? What solutions are there to give those assets? um, and then, like, for example, VBA, right? You can make managers of teams without giving them the wallet, right? You can just create a user ID and say, hey, I create this user ID. You will be able to do lineups and stuff, but you will have no access to the wallet, and we will control the wallet. Again, unfortunately, not a lot of DAOs do this, and which was one of the reason why I was kind of trying to push DAOs do this, is they don't have support for multisig. But as more and more DAOs do it, they'll probably put support for multisigs higher up their like same thing with Uppool. All of these protocols have their wish list of you know adding support for multisigs, but not enough DAOs are engaging them, so they don't have the incentive to do it. So that's kind of another aspect of where I'm coming from, is like, as more and more DAOs start working with these games, then these games will then feel the need to add support for multisigs in their protocol. So that's kind of another aspect of it.
Just on that topic, Dean, we've been trying to find a solution to lending assets where they don't actually go into someone's wallet for games that are wallet connected needed. So if anyone knows of any solutions to that, feel free to DM me and let me know about them. I've been trying to do a bit of research on that side of things, so that if we did want to lend assets to people that we're unsure on, that we can do it safely and not run the risk of losing assets.
Yeah, it's also something that plagues us on the NFT council side. I've talked a lot to, like, the most likely place we'll see that in the short term, I think would be squads. Now, that being said, all of these multi-sig guys, they really focus primarily on DeFi protocols, DeFi DAOs, um, as their big clients, just because of TVL. So um, there is a a silver lining in that they we are the power users of these tools, so we have their ear. Um, The moment there is something, I'll let you guys know. And there's likely going to be a solution. It'll be super cumbersome, and it'll take
Always.
an operation that's like 5 minutes for you to do on your own. All of a sudden, it'll now be 1 hour just so you can do it the decentralized way. But you know that option will exist. So I'll share everything like that I know of. But today, I'm fairly certain there's nothing that we can use.
Yeah, yeah. I've put a bit of research into it, and I haven't come up with anything that's viable to do it. Yeah.
I wanted to ask if you guys have considered spinning out your own, token, DAO, everything else like the Dean's List. And I, I'm saying it in a way that like it is so empowering and so powerful. Um, we have members that have never even come into the Grape server. And I can imagine a world where, God's love, you're already involved with the VBA guild, but like, maybe maybe it's a different type of DNA for somebody to want to join a gaming guild rather than Grape as a whole. And I've noticed that it really, like, we used to have feedback back specifically in this server, and it never really took off, right? It was actually only Pontes who had played in that channel, and now Pontes isn't even in the feedback anymore. I mean, he's around, just he hasn't been active for the last month. So, I when I look at like opportunities, for me, this is a like, and I will spend as much time as you guys like. I will be fully invested in spending time on this. I think it's a fantastic idea, um, for you guys to seriously consider a gaming identity, using again a strata token connected to the Grape universe. I think that that would be so powerful. It could have its own NFT, or it could have its own identity. It doesn't even need to be, like, I want it to be connected to Grape in that it would use the Grape back tokens. I think it's the best expression of what we're trying to achieve in like having these powerhouse units kind of spin out and then grow in their own right. What do you guys think about that idea? What would your questions or concerns be?
About having a grape back token for the gaming console?
Either for the or either for the gaming council or for this idea behind a VBA guild, because I think that it's like when you try to put a big idea into one channel, I find that the structure of the community gets a little suffocated. um, that's what I discovered grew faster, um, with uh, with Dean's List. Like there are fewer people to ask about, hey, these changes. Like there's literally about like a good 8 people that run Dean's List, um, and like this hasn't been shared outside of the Dean's List server, but a lot of you guys might know this. We have a grant, coming from Solana. Um, it's for $10,000,
Yeah, I
and
did see that in there.
so Solana, that's just the beginning. Um, and I don't think that we would have been able to apply for that grant using Grape as kind of the the, the example. We, it was very articulated to say, look, this is what this does. This is how people come in and get involved, and this is the service it provides to the ecosystem. I am positive that with something similar, and again, I want to, I hope it imbues in you guys confidence when I say I will be part of helping make this happen. I will also be part of that grant application process. And if somebody wanted to put down money on, hey, if we move forward with making a great back token for a gaming council, and then we have our own server and we get people in, what's your confidence level on getting a grant? I would bet any amount of money my confidence is 100% because I can see the articulated grant and the value for the Solana Foundation. The value is now that there's a committed group of people who will be testing and growing the Web3 gaming scene on Solana. That doesn't exist today. There is no committed, dedicated group. If we say it's the Grape Gaming within here, that's possible too, but my confidence level is diminished exponentially as a channel within this server. I'll
Like,
pause there because it's a lot to consume.
yeah, so two things. One is, I'm probably not the one who's thought more about this problem than maybe the other members at Gaming Council, like maybe Sergeant Savage or Porter. I think they're more like the community. Um, they're better at the community aspects of it. So
We
they
sort
might
of
be able to
discussed
answer it
it.
better.
Yeah, we sort of discussed it previously that if we're trying to adopt traditional gamers into the space to play the games, then they may struggle with like a token-based entry into stuff. That's our main concern with it. I think it's a great idea to do it later on in the piece, maybe not in these early stages where we're still sort of getting everything set up and deciding what sort of path we want to do. Do we want to do guilds? Do we want to be more a sort of centralized place that developers can come and we can test their games, give them feedback, etc. We're still sort of ironing out all those sort of things that we want to do in it. So if we add another thing onto it, it may be too much, if you know, in the early stages.
Yeah, like for example, I shared a chat in our gaming console I had with some members um at VBA, for example, because that's where I've been kind of more involved with when I had like just a little bit of time to be involved in the last 1 month or so. And a lot of people like just creating a wallet and buying NFTs itself is like you know like a big step for a lot of people who would like to play a game. um Adding more complexity on top of that, it just feels we might be like we might be able to onboard people who are like in already like playing these games and they can come and join our group, right? But I think one of our visions or hopes was this will be more of a place where like traditional gamers come and we give them a path to playing games through the council. So again, I don't have any opinion, but it does feel like a little bit extra, especially because people are already in their in a zone where they're uncomfortable. But again, I'm open to ideas, but that's what we have kind of discussed. Riptide, did you guys? I think you also had some discussions around that, right?
Hello. Yeah. 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 I'd echo. Like we did discuss that. It might be adding barriers to entry for lay people who might be coming from the gaming background rather than the crypto background. We also were simply saying at the minute there are examples of games that are making starts, but there really isn't a clear game to get behind that would likely be that big kind of ticket to onboard a lot of kind of traditional gamers. Like some of these games are like fun for a little bit, but they're not like going to be I don't think a lot of these games would be the deciding force to kind of really swing someone from traditional gaming over to crypto gaming. And so like we're still exploring a lot of opportunities, looking at all the different games that are coming out and discussing them amongst ourselves and trying to say, oh, should we do more in this? Should we do more in that? But it's still really early basically. And like even amongst ourselves with the different ideas we have about how to kind of get more people involved or develop trust systems, it's added kind of management and effort that would even lead to it. It's there's a lot of questions keep getting raised whenever we talk about it, and at the minute it does seem the path forward is just to kind of keep it simple and try and kind of continue to build out to look for those games that are gonna kind of that we like, for one, enjoy actually taking part in, and for two, that actually kind of maybe can yield a bit of a return or a profit and build off that further. So I think that's broadly where we're at.
I appreciate it, guys, and really, you've done a fantastic job up till now. Again, like I applaud all the efforts, and thank you for entertaining the token idea for the third time. I'll do my best to not bring it up again.
Like one of the things that we know, and especially like why being part of Grape is really awesome is, let's say we have a call and we say like, okay, this is where we are, and we need to get a Grape back token set up 2 days from now. Like I feel like being part of Grape Community, like we have access to like you and other members in the community that then can like quickly help us in getting that done. So like if you said, okay, or we said, okay, there's this game, like, oh, we just realized it and we need to set up something quick. I think that is like just being part of Grape, that gives at least me the confidence that we can mobilize really quick and even get that done. Like, even if we wanted to set up like a separate Discord because of something, I just feel like Talkie and Legend, these guys are kind of so quick and so like good at that. And maybe I'm just spoiled, like they're just so good at that stuff that if we needed to get that done, like that can be mobilized if needed. So we just haven't been doing it just because we haven't kind of had the need to it. um
By the way, man, if you ever wrote that in a tweet, I will 100% retweet that. I might not I might not retweet about your itchy bum, but I will 100% retweet. I will 100% retweet those sentiments, and I appreciate the compliments to everybody here, and also to myself. So thank you for that.
yeah, and ichibams are important, like Knight was saying, right? We have a good DAO, but it's the ichibam that's going to keep us improving and
No,
make
it
it
was the
slightly
correct
better.
time. It was the correct time to say it too, because now, we've relieved the itchy bum. There is no one, two, or three members that can pass anything now. So I'm glad we were able to relieve that. Yeah.
Yep. So again, I'll sign off, but again, like I'm still definitely looking for a sponsor. Happy to talk more about this idea of a DAO, owning a franchise in a game, kind of lead the path there. One of the things I didn't mention, and I can talk about a little bit more, probably I'll spend a minute, is a lot of you, if you guys interact with like the gaming world in Web3, you will come across this idea of like um, students and workers in kind of in like these games. Like if you've heard of like Axie, right? There are people who are like who own the assets and then they give the assets out to like students, they call, just as a respectful term for something that's actually not so cool. And then those people like kind of farm value for people who actually own the assets, and that's not something that really or in particular, and I think most of the people here at Gaming Council like, the idea of kind of exploiting this whole student culture. Um, so we want to build a culture where even if we have assets, we give out to people, and the people who actually use the assets get to keep you know vast majority of like what they do. And the only thing that we would take as a part of that is some kind of royalties that we can kind of then distribute among Grape and improve the infrastructure. So one of the things that we kind of thought with this proposal was that same thing. Is like if we do get members of Grape who do want to come and play the game, if let's say your team gets drawn in the lucky draw, right? You get to keep the awards because you did the work, you managed the team, and not many people in the whole ecosystem are raising the voice about it. That it's probably not that nice, but we want to again be the pioneers in kind of raising that voice to say, hey, Web3 games are not a place to exploit this culture. The people who actually play the games should get the rewards associated with it. So that's just like another thing I wanted to add. But thanks for having me and listening me out. Appreciate it.
I appreciate all the hard work you've done too, man. And really, I feel I'm embarrassed I didn't know more about the gaming council's situation. Especially, again, I reiterate, I'm the only one out of 27 people. I'm doing this for posterity on the YouTube. Not a single person. So that includes everybody that's in the image. Everybody in the image knew, other than me, what the gaming council is up to.
Oh no.
And
Also me. I'm sorry to interrupt. Because I wanted to add, Gaming Council has a Twitter page. I think that part of the would try to make more cause, because let's face it, niche. So we're looking for pretty niche that experience. So all you can do is know that thing out there that we're doing it, come to us. So any web DAO has that might be not clickbait, might people might engage people joining the community, is beneficial to the whole community on that. So yes, I focus more on being a little bit, just doing a great job at that. And I think the content sub-DAO and the gaming sub-DAO and the NFT.
What just happened there?
Yeah, I moved him to the audience because it was just unbearable.
Sorry.
hey, Jairus, reconnect. Like, you're gonna have to leave completely from the voice stage. Maybe even restart your app and then come back, because yeah, you were kind of wonky.
So I think one of the things he was saying was, if I understood that correctly, was kind of use our Twitter um, space. If I again correct me if I misunderstood, but I think that was one of the things. Like use our social media. We do again. If one of his questions like, hey, can we use the mod team or the content team more in the social media? Yeah, I mean that is again something we have discussed. So that is, yeah, that's definitely on our radar of kind of engaging the other teams more. Yeah, and yeah, I mean if the idea was again with VBA, like when we do this gamified managers at Grape, like yeah, the idea is definitely to use the content team or the I get confused, I think it's the mod team, to kind of then run that for us. Yeah, I hope I understood his question and I'm answering that correctly. I'm sorry, Jarvis.
Yeah, I still don't think it's a priority. Like, again, it's now 2 people out of 20. We should never prioritize work for 2, like, over at Dean's List. I think it was like Scientist Joe, and huge fan of Scientist Joe. I'm just, gonna bring it up because it's relevant. We had a call. There's only 7 of us, and Scientist Joe missed it. He's like, "Can somebody record it?" I'm like, "Bro, now we're gonna have a new job and this and that." It's like, if you want to give me Grape so I can record it for you, sure, but like, let's not just like invent work for 1 or 2 people. So, the fact that Billy and Chris and Kirk and Archimedes and CryptoPaz and Ryder, all of the, like, I could keep on listing people. None of those people had any absence of information on this, means that it was, my failure and Jarris's failure to get that information.
Well, I mean, if there's other ways that information can be conveyed, we're definitely open to more ideas. Like, for example, uh,
Yeah, but that's the
discourse is
thing.
one
You're
way,
doing it
but
well. You're doing it well. By virtue of the fact that it's only me and Jarris, you're doing it fine. 100% we should not waste time on discussing things that are not broken. You guys just keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
Let's be honest, it's probably more than just 2 people, but like it's like if there's a best practice,
Yeah, but there's no
will
point.
follow
Like,
it.
that's the thing. If no one else, like, we're not going to try to fix things that are not considered a community broken thing. So,
Yeah.
It's much more important to prioritize where people voice it. And like, if I'm voicing it and then telling you guys it's not a problem, no one else gave a shit, that's not a problem. That's how I see it. Let's not bring up problems that don't seem to be problems to other people.
well, the other kind of caveat, and I don't know if I should mention it. So, like, when we mentioned like the assets per gaming console, I think that was kind of based on the price of the NFTs that we hold. So, that can change at any time, I guess. Uh, just by the fact that, and I think we're just going off the floor prices. So that can change based on how the NFT prices are moving. But I think this is a good audience that already kind of understands that.
So I guess as a next step for your proposal, people will read, and then at some point, I guess we can discuss it again on Tuesday, or somebody can go ahead and, at any time now, anybody can go ahead and put it on chain. If I do remember correctly, I think you're asking for how much Soul?
Well, I think that's something that I want to actually sit, like, if like, I know you're in the NFT council, I know Riptide's in the NFT council, but I would like really want to discuss this with you guys, because this would be fun. Like, I don't want to set a soul. Like, I just want to give you the knowledge, and then I want, like, the best people at acquiring the assets, because that kind of gamifies the whole thing and makes it like more fun, right? um I don't want to decide on a soul. I just want to give you guys as much information as you guys need, and I want you guys to decide, how much you want to spend on assets. Like, you come up with like the whole idea of like, hey, this is our budget. This is what we can get you, and I'll be like, no, I need this kind of player, and then you're like, nope, that's all we can do. If you get me this kind of result, then maybe we'll think about it. So I wanted that way. So I don't want to say how much. So I just put in like a number there. So you guys have an idea of how much it would be for like 5 or 6 teams, but I want you like the NFT Council, if again they are interested, to then kind of say, okay, we went through the market. This was the transaction, and I think you guys have more tools than me as a person who just looks at it to say, okay, this is what we think is a fair price to run 5 teams, and you go from there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll bring it up. And I see 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 of us here that are part of the NFT Council. So yeah, let's discuss that some more, guys. Gaming asset wise, we already have. Oh, sorry, Riptide, go for it.
Sorry, I was just going to make the small thing of saying that I'm not on the NFT Council, but it's no biggie.
Sorry about that.
As far as gaming assets, we have the Ruse. We now have some Eternal Dragons. I think that's it. But these aren't games that are active. We used to have a Nyan Hero, and then Barn Dog told me to just sell it. I think that was the right thing to do. We had that's it. But yeah, I like the way you're thinking about it, where there's a natural kind of pull and tug behind, hey, this is the value of the asset and the budget with management and code. I see it. I dig it. So yeah, I like that you brought it up.
I might be the only person who noticed it, but I think Kirk had mentioned something in the live chat about dropping some alpha in him. I'm kind of like curious as to what he was talking about. Or maybe too late to get alpha? I don't know.
No, it's never too late to. We got a few people off. So we've been working on the first program we're going to release on chain. Yeah, it's a Cardano NFT, definitely. It's a Cardano smart contract. So here we go. So basically what we're doing is we've been focused on building something that's might be related a bit with Shadow. Not yet. The first iteration is going to. It's something that we were experimenting on this week. So we've actually deployed it on DevNet, and we're playing around with some of the things that we could do. But here you could get a preview of the UI and what we're building out of it. So we're building a way that you can make threads and posts and reply. And this is fully functional on DevNet. We've been playing around with it, trying to see what is going to work and what's not going to work, what the cost is going to be associated. But what's really, really nice with regards to what we've built is that we're going to eventually offload some data, the metadata, and we're going to be able to support also some really cool things later on, because you're not going to be just limited to maybe 280 characters. Right now, we put a placeholder of 280 characters that you could put for the discussion. But we already have in our primitives, it's already to support more, and we could offload that on Shadow Drive. And that means that we can add a rich text editor, which I've been playing around with, and then we could push all that all that text on there. So basically, what does this mean? And I think you guys have seen in the screenshots that the first one that I shared has the post, of course, has a date. It has a little thumbs up. And what's really cool about it is, yeah, people can technically vote or poll for what they like. But if you see the second screenshot that I posted with regards to editing the post, you can see clearly that we have a community, we have an editable topic. And so it's really interesting. We could gate it by community. We can have topics. There are a few fields that I haven't shown or exposed, but one of the fields is going to be an ending time. So you can have like something that's going to be in a thread that could start a discussion, and it could have certain rules, and it could say, you know what, it's ending then, and people could participate, and then they could keep on replying until we get the votes and someone sees maybe who had the most votes. The nice thing about this is that because we do have an ending time, you can also reclaim whatever you've, let's say, put in those posts, and you could delete them after, and you could get all the rent and what you deposited back. So it's really nice. So it could be something that could be very interactive. The voting that we do on our end, which is more, it's not voting, it's polling. The nice thing is we offload that. So we're using Ceramic to put that. So you just have to sign a transaction. The dynamics could be very interesting, and I do believe that for us, we could be power users on our end. I know that I'm not blind to not know that WordCell has their own thing, but from our perspective, we're going to have the program that's going to be available on mainnet during the week. Beta is going to be available for everybody to try out during the week, and it's going to be open sourced, everything from the app to the source code to everything. It's going to be publicly available, so anybody could contribute also, and they could support it. Now, once we do release this from our end, it's going to be with a shorter text, and then we're going to see what the right way to do it with Shadow Drive is going to be. If we're going to have like an account that basically stores the data and has a general storage pool, or if the user is going to have that and then they reclaim it, I'll think about what the dynamic is so it's not a clunky experience. But right now, it actually works really good. And we've been, from our end, we've been trying to make sure that we release this and we add this in Grape Art too, to show how easily and composable it is for a solution. So yeah, you guys have an idea of what we're working on here. There are a few other things that we are working on, and we're going to build out programs for those. But the process is right now that in Grape, we're going to start building those primitives that we're going to find that we're going to need and put use and utility to.
This is really cool, Kirk. Do you think that this could eventually replace discourse for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So it could definitely replace discourse. There are two ways to think about it. One, the way I did it right now is that you can delete a thread, so you reclaim the soul that you put in for that thread. Maybe if we use something like Shadow, we do it permanent. So you pay deposit, you do the post, you make it permanent, and then you reclaim it back. It's like a technical thing, but you put it on Shadow. So you would be paying a bit, but it would be less than what you'd be paying on Solana. Unfortunately, with Shadow, there is a two-step process that we're going to explore later. What I want to do first is I want to release a beta that doesn't have a lot of text, that we use it for ourselves, see what our use cases could be, and then we could build on top of this, because I think by making something that's simple, very simple, we can open up the door for finding utility for this primitive. And later on, other communities, and we could gate it. We can just have it public for any community. We could do it any way we want. So right now you can see that you have a community selector on the top. I have Grape and I have Solana as two communities, but we could put a token to be a community. We could put an NFT to be a community. We could put anything we want, and we could gate it. So any of the conversation could be gated within that community. And this is in the program level. It's not in the application on the front end level. So if you don't have that token, you will not be able to see those posts. And another thing that we're exploring is encryption of the data. I did some primary work seeing if we're going to use LIP protocol to do this, but I don't think that encryption is that important for the discourse stuff. I don't think people communicating in discourse want to encrypt the messages. What they want is they want to have a place where they're going to store it on chain and have it available for those communities, and it might be gated. But maybe also they want to just have it publicly available. Yeah, it's an encryption protocol, right? In red, it's so that's in a nutshell what we're doing. So you guys are going to be able to play around with it during the week. I'll post it probably in Grape Art, and yeah, if you guys have any ideas going forward, we'll start working on those and seeing. But this is the first program. Then the next program that we're going to release is going to be the jobs program that we discussed, I think, with Chapter X. Divinity has been a great person. I don't exactly know what his handle is on Discord, but he's been helping everywhere he can. He's been also pitching in to help with our source code on this. And so that was really nice of him. So after that, we have a member of ours has been working on a program that we're going to put hand in hand with the marketplace. So that's going to be really nice, where we're going to have all the auction houses and all the marketplaces on a program that's going to be publicly available. And then we have a couple more ideas, and those are, again, simple ideas which could turn out to be, as we call it, low-hanging fruit, where everybody is going to use it, but you're like, why didn't they think of it yet? So I'm not going to share any information until we have that finalized and pushed it. But I think with regards to a blog type experience, I think it's going to be something that could have a very interesting dynamic within a DAO, because we are power users, and we do want to put a presence on what we're doing on Web3. So this kind of opens the door of that utility.
Yeah, guys, this is a really big deal. So looking forward to being able to replace a lot of the tools that we currently use with our homegrown Web3 decentralized tools.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great to see, and like the possibility for us could be, yeah, just thinking about what it could replace technically. Maybe just as an idea, why not? I mean, if it's ready during the week, we can see what feedback comes in, but we have Dean's List, right? So why not also give feedback on that? I remember giving feedback for the chat for the, who was it? Never mind. But I think
Strata, yeah.
yeah, and they basically gave access to their chat while they were working on it, and the live feedback was valuable to them. So I think, especially since most of the people in Dean's List also use or know what's happening in Grape and in the DAO and on Discourse, that could be like a potential task, like to compare it and give feedback on what's still missing, what we would need in order to replace like Discourse, for example. I'm just thinking out loud. So maybe it's a route that we could take.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, CryptoPause, and I don't like philosophically, Kirk. Would you like we right now as a DAO we could propose that Grape pay Dean's List to test out this protocol. Do you think that that's philosophically aligned?
It's not a published product yet, so no, not yet.
Okay, let's switch the product then.
And it's a beta right now that we're into. Once we put it on mainnet and or DevNet that we publicly make available, the next step is to finalize everything that we're going to do as a product itself. It's not a product that's quote ready to ship. There's a few more components that we got to add on our end, and also for it to be a discourse replacement, it does need to support more than 280 characters. So, I mean, the first thing that anybody's going to say is we need more than 280 characters. So once we have that, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's more the philosophy. So like, let's say people in Grape felt that Grape.art, which is more of a shipped product. Like philosophically, do you think that that's the correct approach? Like somebody here would say, hey, We think that this needs a feedback report. Like that should just be initiated by a community member. Do you think that's correct?
This is a general question. I mean, for grape art, or
Yeah, for the different products, like in the case of Grape Access, that has its own token, it has its own DAO, and then those members took the initiative to say, "Hey, we want the Dean's List crew." I'm just thinking. This is the first time I've thought about this, and CryptoPause brought it up, so I'm thinking in real time. With GAN, because it was a separate server and a group and whatnot, it made sense. Do you see here that like it would be the responsibility of the Grape DAO to decide, hey, let's use the resources to do this improvement or get this feedback on Grape.art?
so let me understand. Like do you want us to make a proposal for grape.art through Grape to get feedback for Dean's List?
I don't want anything. I just an idea. We can drop it.
Yeah, look, I mean, all projects that we have in Grape, they have to intertwine that we're doing, and that we're building out. Most definitely, Grape art should be something that gets feedback from Dean's List, and all the products that we have should get feedback from Dean's List. The only thing with what we're releasing now, because this is like pre-alpha, it's not a finalized product. I wouldn't be able to answer that question yet until we have something that we feel, from our end more comfortable with. And something that I definitely, from what we're aiming to do, if we want to have something that we're going to store on chain, we have to think about the most important question of how we're going to store more data to make those posts bigger, because the posts that we have on let's say on discourse, they're large, so the first feedback is obvious. So once we have that solved, then most definitely we could put this for feedback on how we can have this to be used as a discourse replacement.
Awesome. That was exactly my question. Thank you. I guess we can slowly wind it down. Unless there's any other last minute questions or thoughts for what we should start focusing on between now and Tuesday. Um, I think there's a lot of thinking to do around the membership emissions, and Dianite shared some good thoughts around that. All the proposals up, everybody should be voting on them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 proposals. So if you're listening and you haven't voted, please go and do so now. So yeah, for next time we'll probably talk more again about the membership model. I saw that Jairus sent some preliminary ideas there. And then next week, I think we'll set up a dedicated discussion for reputation. And also, I aspire to get work on the lockers done this week, because I think that that's going to be critical to a lot of the decisions we have around both reputation and membership emissions. Okay. I guess we can call it here, guys. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday. Thank you for taking the time. Take care.
Bye bye.
Good night. Have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah, guys, thank you for inviting. It was very interesting to hear you all.
Thank you for joining us, brother.